Guys, Justin Curatola here with Dr. Matt O'Neill. Today, what we're going to go over is some of your questions, and I would like to introduce, like I said, Dr. Matt O'Neill. And would you like to kind of take a little background on who you are and your kind of what you've done?
Yeah, like you said, I'm Matt O'Neill. I got my doctorate in physical therapy from Creighton University in 2007 or 2003. Yeah, it's been a long time. Apparently late tonight as well. So in 2003 is when I got my doctorate. Started my own company. Hey, Revy. I started my own physical therapy company in 2004 and with my wife, and we have since grown it to, I think we have 15 employees now. I also have a real estate company, a consulting company, and a spa as well that we just opened. And now I'm in the place where we're actually starting our next business, which is a franchise health company as well. And so I'm here with Justin, and we're going to be answering your questions and kind of trying to drop some wisdom and some understanding on these questions that we have.
Hi, Michelle. See that you joined. So today, I actually answered a few questions already, so we won't be going over those. But what we will be doing is kind of trying to pinpoint some of the other ones that weren't answered on the actual feed. And so I like to go in with the first one. Edwin is the first one, and his question is, I'm implementing an inventory system from scratch. I need this inventory system for my 14K jewelry company that I sell into 2 physical locations. All my sales have been handwritten and manual up to this point. I have approximately 200,000 in inventory, and I want to implement and computerize a POS system and inventory system. The main reason I want an inventory system, number 1, so I can know I have an inventory system at any given time. So that's good. 2, so I can see how fast I'm selling my inventory. That's good. 3, so I can minimize internal theft of inventory. Any suggestions as far as implementing an inventory system and any guidance on a POS system? So POS stands for point of sale systems. There is a list that I comprised of some POS systems that I have used in the past with some of the bigger companies I've been involved with. As far as jewelry POS system, because POS systems are actually directly pinpointed on for different companies. So for jewelry, I would use Lightspeed POS. It's Lightspeed POS and or Ace Retail POS. Both are really good for jewelry companies. If it was just regular POS system for different types of companies, I would use either a company called Toast POS, Salesforce Commerce Cloud is a good one, or Commerce Cloud is a good one. Square is another one, Vend and QuickBooks. So my suggestion is, because you've been doing these kind of the old school way of doing it by paper, I would go back and look at start from the beginning of your year. So start from January 1st to today, and go back and look at really what your inventory is from start to finish. Even though it's on paper, you need to go to square one. Then once you get that month done and you can start working your way forward, that needs to get directly quickly into a POS system, like you were saying, definitely upon theft, because right now you kind of have chaos going on, and you have really no structure based upon your implementation within supply. And that's something you really need to take very quickly. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely. And January 1st, if your company runs from January 1st to December 31st, January 1st of this next year is a perfect time to actually implement that. So that gives you the next 2 months to really do all the homework that is needed to determine which one of these is going to work best for you and fit within the system that you already have, or translate from what you have in paper over into the computerized system, making sure that it's backed up, making sure it's accessible, like you said, almost wherever you are, you can see your inventory, again, prevent theft. But January 1st is going to be a really good time for you to flip that over.
Okay, so I hope that helps, Edwin. I see that you're on here. I'm glad to see you. Ian, we're actually going to be going right into to the next question, which is Ian's question. And Matt, why don't you go ahead and take this? I'll read it. It says, Justin, I'm trying to build a supplement company from the ground up. As a new company, there is a ton of competition. What is the best efficient way to build trust? And then the second part of his question is, I've been trying to post content on the benefits of our supplements and health tips, but the results are not what I expected. Any advice would be great.
Hey Ian, this is Matt. Again, I think that you joined after we jumped on. So I'm a physical therapist, have been for 15 years, and I own my own PT clinic in Nebraska. And so I take supplements. I've taken, different types of supplements for the last, probably 6 years straight, 7 days a week. It depends on what I'm taking it as far as, is it for exercise? Is it for just general nutrition? My wife takes supplements all the time as well. The things that I look for when I'm looking at trust, because most startup companies from a supplement standpoint can't go out and get their stuff actually tested. They can't go get informed choice. They're not going to use a manufacturer that is from an informed choice certified because it's too expensive. It's a cost prohibitive at that point. So what you have to do is you have to, be as transparent as possible. And what I mean by transparency is, for me, anytime that something says that they have a proprietary blend, I don't buy. Okay, and the reason I don't buy it is because I don't know what's actually in it. You can say, for example, like amino acids, right? You have all these different types of branched chain amino acids or essential amino acids that you could throw into something, or you could actually put protein in, right? And the way that the system works right now is, yes, you could put protein in, but a lot of people actually spike their protein or their supplements with a form of amino acid, which when it's actually tested by the FDA or whoever, it actually spikes as a protein. So I'm getting something other than what is actually on the label. So in order to build trust, you have to have transparency, especially if you don't have a doctoral background, a chemistry background, a physics background, or not physics, but like a physiology background, something that gives you a degree. Like I can walk in and I can have instantaneous trust. Why? Because I have a degree and I'm licensed through the state, yada, yada, yada. I've built a name for myself that way. So that's the first thing, is transparency. The next thing is really trying to inform people based off of research, not off of placebo, not based off of what I see because I do a lot of research on these different subjects. What I see a lot of, and I'll say I'll use a cleanse as an example, right? There's a lot of people that say, oh, you need to do a cleanse this many times, or you need to have a fiber drink of this and this and this. But when you actually go and you look at the research that is out there, there's really no health benefits to some of these things. But we're selling them because we're going to make money. So it's just diluted the entire supplement industry. Oh, that's awesome. Man, I need to talk to you because, I number one, I'm learning to love Vanderbilt. That's just I'm learning more and more about the university itself. And so I'm learning that. And then a clinical chemist, I mean, man, I would be pushing the heck out of that, your background from there, right? Because with transparency and with what you're doing, you're able to explain things. So my guess, just based off the chemistry teachers that I studied under, is your trouble is going to be, how do you make it applicable to the common person and understandable to the common person? You and I could meet and talk about all these different things at a very, very high level, and I would understand and know if you knew what you're talking about very, very quickly. The average population is just getting inundated with marketing, not application. And so if you came in and you actually gave them very, very easy application, then you're going to build trust. And that's really what you have, those two things. You got to focus on transparency and making it applicable and easy to digest, pun intended, for the, that was a good one.
Yeah, that was good.
For the people that are consuming your product or trying to be aware of your product.
And keep it simple. Keep it to a couple different ingredients. Don't go crazy on it. That'll keep your costs down.
Absolutely.
So great question. We had a couple people tune in. So Marty, great to see you. Joel, and I believe I saw Sunny up here. Hi, Sunny. So great to have you guys. Denise is in. Hi, Denise. So our next question, and I hope that helps. If it didn't, just kind of DM me, and we'll gladly work through that with you. We're here to help. Nancy has a question. She says, "Hi, Justin. A question on enthusiasm. How can I develop or increase the enthusiasm on my daily work, even more on sales activities? I understand this is important to build good relationships with clients." Maybe you can talk a little bit about that, and then I'll take it over from you.
Yeah, for me, enthusiasm, it's internal, or you have to identify what you're struggling up against, right? What is dampening your enthusiasm? Okay, so let me use exercise as a very simple example. I always tell people, right, do these exercises, blah blah blah. They say, I don't have any time. I'm like, really? Out of your entire day, you don't have 5 minutes to do this one thing? Well, yeah, they come up with all these excuses, right? That's dampening their enthusiasm. They haven't been into the thing long enough to see the results of what they're doing in order to develop that internal drive. I wake up at 5:30 in the morning to work out, unless I'm here in Nashville or in Franklin with Justin. But typically I'm up at 5:30. I don't want to get up every morning, right?
Just threw me under the bus.
I'm saying I don't get up at that time.
I hear you.
But I don't want to wake up at 5:30 and get going. Excuse me. I've trained myself to where I do wake up, but I don't want to get up. And so I learned this trick from, I can't remember the guy's name right now. But anyways, I learned this trick to identify weakness and pretend like there's a person in my room. So I actually look at my lamp that's next to my bed. I go, oh, hello, weakness. I see you standing there, and I'm going to go destroy you. Get up. I go through my process. I'm over there working out. Before I know it, I am very enthusiastic for the day because I've just created movement. So step number one for enthusiasm is identify what's holding you back from that, what's kind of dampening that. Step number two is just create movement. Get up and move. If you need to literally stand up and walk across the room to create enthusiasm or to create movement and change for your day, then do it. If you need to pick up the phone and just start calling, it's create movement. And when you do that, it's almost like a snowball effect. It will continue to roll because you will get so addicted to the movement and to the concept of achievement that the moment you sit down and you stop moving, that's the thing that will feel odd to you.
Agreed. And Matt really does have a massive background, and it's not only from being a doctor and a PT, but he is a PT for some of the largest, I'll brag on him for a minute, for some of the largest music groups, rock groups in the world, and has worked with some of the most impressive groups out there. So he's a very smart man in these subjects, and he's proven. And so definitely take what he says to heart, because he's coming at it from a medical standpoint, but also from an entrepreneur standpoint. He has both sides. For me, on the enthusiasm, I get a mindset where I'm always positive. I'm a very positive person. I wake up, and I've talked about this before in my podcast. I wake up and I literally thank God that I woke up. I thank God for the smallest things, because as I go out throughout the day, when I get to the bigger things, I don't let myself ever look at a problem as a failure. I look at it as, okay, I can be either really down or I can be really positive. If I'm positive, I'm only giving myself endorphins within my mind to just keep going. And the more that you do that, you get hooked on that. So the positivity becomes routine. And when something comes routine, it becomes extremely easy to start following that. So I would tell you to make it up in your mind, these small goals. Make sure you hit those goals. And once you hit those goals, then just keep working your way up on, a medium goal and then a larger goal. But we're human. We're going to make mistakes, okay? So the way to stay enthusiastic is to know in your mind, your body, and your soul that you're only human, okay? And know that every day that you wake up is a new day to start. Don't let your past dictate your future. And remember, every day you wake up, you have an opportunity to change anything that's bad or anything that is not working in your life, that's not, right. You have an opportunity the next day to change that. So keep that in your mind. I mean, you are truly the captain of your future. And, it's a mentality. It's a lifestyle. If you start being grateful for the smaller things, as you grow in your company and as you grow in your mind and within your heart, you're only going to become stronger. And like I said, it becomes routine. Once it becomes routine, it rubs off on everybody else. So already know you've already stepped into it. You're in a mentorship group where you have all this positivity coming around you, all these people wanting to help you. So you're not alone. You're never alone. Okay. And so when you talk about enthusiasm, that's a life change thing. Okay. It's a mind thing, but it's a life change thing. And if people are going to be negative in your life and that's going to be part of bringing that enthusiasm down, then get rid of them. There's tons of people out there that want to be positive and want to help you grow and want to help you make those things. So I hope that helps. And I hope if you have any questions, as a tribe, I'm always here, and I have access to great other men that I know, and so we'll go from there. I hope that helps.
One more thing with that.
One more thing?
Yeah,
okay.
Because I was reading through your question a couple times here to make sure, kind of what I was thinking was accurate. So then my assumption is that you're trying to develop enthusiasm so that the people that you're talking to from a sales standpoint, that your clients, the people that you're trying to sell to, can feel your enthusiasm. And so what I want you to do is, I'll stand up and show you. We call it the Superwoman pose. Okay. So you're going to stand like this before every phone call. You're going to stand for 2 minutes in this posture right here. Feet wide, hands on your hips, right? Head up, and just breathe. Clinically, and from a research standpoint, what we've shown, or what has been shown, is that you will change the chemical structure in your brain so that you can handle stress better. That you will basically defeat stress out of your life simply by standing in that body position. It's a power position. And so if you do that before each one, and then when you call the person or when you make the sales call, you smile. It'll come through on the phone. And so you do those two things, you handle your stress and you smile, that'll come across the people you're trying to sell to.
I was just watching you do that Superman pose.
Superwoman pose?
Well, I do the Superman pose.
Okay. Or actually it's Wonder Woman pose.
Well, I do the Superman pose, and it's the same thing, but it's my pose. And that might be one of the reasons that I'm
so amazing.
So I wouldn't say amazing. I'm happy.
Okay. And humble.
Okay. And definitely humble. So I hope that helps. We're definitely having fun here. And so
always have fun.
Absolutely. And that's another thing, guys. If you're in a business and you're not having fun, it can be stressful. But if you're not having fun, you got to change the dynamics and the structure of that system. I am with Matt quite a bit, and some other gentlemen that we're building within a startup company right now. And we actually really have a lot of fun in what we're doing. It's just stressful. It's a lot of work, but we have fun because we're positive. So keep the positive mindset. Don't get down on yourself. Be thankful for the small things. They lead into bigger things. And just know that you have the tribe here, and we're all here to help. And it's a family. Mm-hmm. And we're very lucky to have all of each other. So we're all working towards a common goal, and that's to become better in what we're doing and to become even more self-sufficient so we can help more people.
Yeah.
So the next one on our list is, I believe, Joe. And hi, Joe. Hi, Robin. Hi, Revy again. Revy's giving me crying faces and smiley faces because she saw you do the Wonder Woman pose.
Right.
Okay.
That's my comment.
Is that your comment? Okay. How do you balance work and time? Joe's question is, how do you balance work and time with your family?
For me, what I've learned, my kids are 10 and 12, and I've really struggled with this because I thought that it had to be a balance, right? That it had to be, okay, if I spend 10 minutes here, then I have to spend 10 minutes here, that there's got to be a balance of some sort. And what I've learned is that quality outlasts and outperforms quantity any day of the week. So what I try to do with each one of my kids, there's a really good book for your spouse and for you, and it's called The 5 Love Languages. Okay. And so and there's also 5 love languages for kids as well. Basically, there's 5 areas of life in your life that people exhibit love, that give love, and to receive love. And each of us are kind of different in our own ways. But with my kids, what I do is I try to fill all 5 of those when I'm with them. Okay. But I'm going to have intensity when I'm with them. So right now, obviously I'm in Franklin. I live in Nebraska, so my kids and my wife are at home. But when I'm talking to them on the phone, even, or Skyping with them or whatever, there's going to be an intensive, there's going to be a focus there. And then when I go home and they're out of school, I'm going to play with them, right? We're going to spend time reading together. We're going to be telling jokes. We're going to be playing. There's an intensity of time that I spend with them, and that fills their love tank that they can last a really, really long time on. And it fills my love tank as well. And so for me, that's where I start to create balance, is with that. The other part of it is I really let my entire family know and be a part of the process of my growth, because they're coming along with me on this journey. This isn't me out here running and trying to do things on my own, and they're just home, waiting for me. They're part of this. I was talking to my daughter tonight, and she's like, "Oh, what kind of meetings did you have today?" I walked through the meetings that I had, and she said, "Oh," and then she can offer input and she can offer advice. Even at 12 years old, she's offered me a perspective that I don't have. And so that's kind of where I develop a balance, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. Mine's a little different. I actually answered this on Joe. I said I have set schedules, and I try to stick to it as much as possible. We have family time, even family movie days. It will always be a struggle, but you have to be calm and patient and see what best works for you. I also said within that DM with Joe, as I said, just always remember to keep calm in your mind and think things out. I talk to Matt about this all the time, about emotion will always dictate outcomes that are not predictable. At the end of the day, what it comes down to is it's a hard balance. It really is a hard balance. I probably spend more time with Matt now than I do my own wife and children. Okay, so I have this is going to sound kind of weird, but I have a business marriage, and that marriage is
Sarah says the same thing.
So I have a business marriage with Matt, okay, and I spend a lot of time with Matt, and we have a lot of fun, and we enjoy each other. But it's a give and take. So I treat my business relationship, per se, marriage, as like I do my actual marriage with Rachel and the kids. I try to give as much time as I can, okay, within a set schedule, whether it's day or night, to my wife and my children, and I try to be a good steward of that time with them. And then I try to schedule enough time within my work schedule to make sure I'm a good steward to Matt and his needs for Zavelle. So it is a struggle, and always will be a struggle, but it's a give and take. It's like a rubber band. Sometimes that rubber band's going to pull one way, and you're gonna feel like, oh man, I'm not giving enough, and that's when you just give a little bit more over here, and you just keep doing it. And it's kind of like that Sesame Street character where it's kind of going like this and going like this, and so just know that's normal. It's normal, and we all struggle with that. It's just give yourself time to understand what those needs are, and be patient within that, and just work through it. Okay.
Yeah. And then we also had, on the completely opposite perspective, my wife stopped working as an occupational therapist in January this year, because we were on the other side of it. We had to take a look after working together for 14 years and, being business partners and everything, of saying, you know what, we need to shift the balance again, because we were just work just took over life too much. And so we had to make a choice of, okay, we need to do X, Y, and Z to reestablish her and what her goals were at that point in life. Because we all grow and we all change and we all shift, and our kids are going to grow up, our families are going to shift. And just because you're doing something one way today does not mean that you're going to do it the same way next year or 5 years from now. Like Justin was saying, you got to be fluid with this. Nothing's in a box. You just be fluid with and responsive to your family and your work.
Correct. So I hope that helps. I know it's kind of a a mismatch in what we're saying, and there's not a lot of direction in it, but there is a lot of understanding within that. Patricia is the next question, and her question is, hi Justin, what do you do for personal development, top podcasts, book, conferences, and other? I told her Blue Ocean Strategy was my main thing. But the other thing that I do, and I don't really talk about it too much on our mentorship, is I read the Bible a lot. And Matt knows this. I literally, if I get stressed out, I literally have a Bible in my vehicle. I have a Bible at home. I take a shower, I go for a run, come home, take a shower, open up my Bible in the morning. I start my day that way. It helps humble me and make me understand in my mind that everything I have is given to me. Okay, and it's a blessing to have it, and I need to pay that forward. And I need to work as hard as I can to not only support my family, but also to support the people that I'm working with and working for. So that's my personal development. My personal development has changed over time. It's gone from working with some of the biggest, that was my goal, my personal development, working with some of the biggest companies in the world and actually building something that had never been built in the world. I did that and brought it to the world. And then I wanted a closer relationship with God. And the closer I got in a relationship with God, the stronger actually my companies became, the more vision that I had within my company, and the more structured my company became, because I realized that the whole book of business was already in the Bible, down to relationships and everything. And the more I read, the more I understood. And that brought me into whole different realms of my development, personal and professional. And that's just another thing that I like to share out there, because it is something that I work through daily, and it's something that I will keep working on until I leave this earth. So for me, it's one of my number one books is Blue Ocean Strategy. And then my number one book would be the Bible. And that's the best business and personal that you can ever have.
Yeah. For me, let's see here, make sure that we're just reading the comments here really quick here.
Hi, okay. Joel. Hi, Sunny.
So, yeah, so for me, personal development, before I even get to those, before I get to podcasts, books, conferences, that type of thing, because what you're talking about is knowledge, right? You're talking about how do you gain as much knowledge inside your head. But from a perspective as a physical therapist, if you don't take care of your body and yourself first, there's no way that you're actually going to absorb the information and then be able to utilize it in your life. So what I do is I set exercise first in my day. So my day starts off at 5:30. I'm up. I get my pre-workout supplement that I utilize. I get over at 6 o'clock. I work out for an hour. I work out very intensive with both cardio and free weights. Then I'm home. I eat the exact same breakfast every single day. I take my post-workout supplement. Like Justin said, I've already read the Bible. And then at that point, I start listening to Proverbs, because we always want to gain in wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. And regardless of your concept of religion or this religion or that religion or this denomination, that denomination, wisdom is wisdom and knowledge is knowledge. And so you infuse that while you're getting ready in the day. That's my personal development, day in and day out. I also am highly sensitive to sleep. So when you think about your sleep, most people, you ask them, well, what are you getting? Well, I'm getting 6 hours a day, or I'm getting 8 hours a day, or something along those lines. And the average number of people that can survive on 6 hours per day, and Justin's going to argue with me on this one, but the average number is 0. Nobody can survive on 6 hours per day over the long-term course. Their body will degrade, their brain will degrade, and they can't function that well. So what do you need to do? Well, you count backwards by hour-and-a-half segments from when you want to wake up. So you want to wake up at 6 in the morning, that's great. Then you're either going to bed at midnight as a minimum, or you're going to bed at 10:30, right, which would actually be much better, or 9 o'clock, which is probably a little bit too early. But you do that consistently every day in, day out. So my days, other than Sunday morning of what I eat for breakfast, don't change ever. They're the same day in and day out, all the time. pretty much without fail, unless I'm here in Franklin, doing other stuff. But it's really develop yourself as a person and nail down your patterns, so you're wasting less and less energy on new things, but you're so efficient at your habits. Oh, that ruined it for me.
The Red Sox just won the World Series. I apologize, guys. My dad just texted me, so I apologize. Red Sox just won the World Series.
Yeah. So that just completely destroyed my frame of thought. But anyways, it's okay, right? It's develop yourself first and foremost, because then when you go in and you digest the Blue Ocean Strategy, when you digest Proverbs, when you digest podcasts, and I love like a Jocko podcast. I love the history. I love learning about leadership and that type of thing. That's, I love those things. But unless I have the other stuff, I'm already running on empty. And it's just wasting between my ears is all it is. So fix yourself, prioritize yourself first, and then these other things will just add into who you are and what you're doing and how well you're able to perform.
Correct. So I hope that answered your question. We had a couple people come in. Mashal and Melinda, hi. I'm glad to have you here. Yes, Edwin, they do have the Bible on Audible. They do. Actually, Matt does that sometimes with him. I believe it's Proverbs.
Yeah, I don't use Audible. I use there's a Bible app that you can download, and then you just push play. Figure out where you want to do, and you just push play, and it'll just read through. And it has some British dude reading it, so it sounds good.
So one of our next questions is Robin. She says, "Good morning, Justin. I'm interested in creating tiny artwork for tiny houses. What would you recommend I have on hand to present this idea to designers and contractors of tiny houses?" Well, first, I would say make sure you have your business card, for one, right? We always have a business card. And then I would have a portfolio of your work. So actual work that you've actually done of the artwork and the tiny artwork. And I would also make a slide deck to kind of just quickly go through some of the things of why they should have it and how that could streamline their business and how you could implement this on not only a state level or a local level, but how you could do it through in North America. And I would also look at possibly tying into some of the tiny house builders that are on a global level, because this is something that I haven't seen.
Yeah,
it's actually a wide open area, and if I was you, I would try to jump on that very quickly within e-commerce too. I would have that set up because you could push people to that website, and you could be selling instantly by doing phone sales to your site and getting that business off the ground very rapidly. It's an excellent business opportunity, and it's something that you should definitely look at trying to streamline. The second thing.
Well, are you still answering this one?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead. No, go ahead. I have an additional idea for that.
Okay, go right ahead.
Okay. As we're talking, one of the things I love entrepreneurs. I love just throwing out ideas. So, chew the meat and spit out the bones, right? What popped in my brain was Picasso. I think it was, had like the swirling sun, big, huge painting, that sort of thing. Well, nobody's going to hang that in there, but they might might love Picasso. They might love a certain artist, and being an in between of that person, being able to contact you, for you to be able to contact the artist or printers or dealers or whatever to miniaturize their paintings so that people can have those awesome Monets and different prints and stuff like that on a size that actually fits, customized within their home.
Correct.
I think that would just be really, really cool. Yeah.
And very scalable.
Oh, yeah, extremely
scalable. So great question and a great idea. It's a great idea.
It is.
The second to last one would be Heather. Hi, Justin. Usually once a year, our company has a price increase. It isn't much, $5 to $10. Our prices are fairly competitive for the Houston mobile grooming industry. We had quite a few people leave last year with the price increase. At the time, I was overloaded with work, so a break was actually needed. Fast forward to today, and with additional of a new groomer, I have to find 30 extra dogs a week for her. When people stop using your service for such a small increase, do you try to keep them, go back, and say we will help, or keep the price the same, or consider a cost of doing business and move on? Thanks for your input. Where would you start with that?
Two things. Number one, I'm going to make a couple assumptions, and I don't know if you're on here, Heather, or not. So I don't think that I saw your name. So we're not going to be able to communicate back and forth for specifics. But I'm going to make the assumption that you actually own this company.
She does.
She does? Okay, wonderful. So you have complete control. What I would do is, especially since you're increasing them every year, is I would take the opportunity to understand if you have to increase that much, $5 to $10 every year. Just as anything automatic shouldn't be done, right? There should be a lot of thought into that. But I would approach all current customers and offer them a membership. It's monthly, it's paid out, it's 100%, it's in your pocket, like a gym membership. So then it's automatic. You're not having to collect money. Then you have your guaranteed work, and your base is there. All new people pay the new price. The new people will not understand or know that there was an old price, right? They're going to be coming on at your new price and not going to be complaining, and you're not going to lose them. And you're going to maintain the people that you have because you're offering them a plan. Say, hey, I am so happy you are such a loyal customer. You are having us, groom your pets this many times, blah, blah, blah. Here's our membership, 3 different membership brackets. They can choose one. They're locked in. You're good to go. They're happy. You're happy because you're guaranteed. Then you can build from there. The other thing is I would incentivize your new person. I want to spend the time going out to work to get them work if they're not going to work for themselves, right? So I would be offering them a competitive wage, right? But I'll also add incentives for every new membership. That'd be key, right? Because you want guaranteed every new membership that they add. And the reason that I would incentivize the membership side is because that groomer may leave, right? You don't want them to go into the competitor and pull on other people with them. Well, if it's just a one-off payment every single time that they do it, they can take their clients with them. If it's a membership and they have a year contract, find a new groomer. And so you've incentivized that person, and you've developed a long-term business plan for yourself.
And the other part of her question, Matt, was that she said that she had lost some clients from that $5 to $10 increase. Would you go back and offer them a coupon incentive in the sense of saying, hey, we'd love to show you some of the new products that we have, some of the new things that we're doing. Would you advise on that?
Yeah, and it follows the same line. Again, I like memberships because it's in your pocket, it's guaranteed, it's done each time. And so if you develop a membership, then I would go back and offer them that membership. Say, I actually listened to what you had to say. I appreciate you being aware and like bringing my awareness of the people that I have and the loyalties that you guys have provided me in the past. And so I would love to offer you this membership at the previous rate. And if they bite, great. If they don't, at the very least, you honored them by acknowledging that they had an actual concern. They didn't agree, maybe with the price increase or whatever.
Go ahead.
Okay, sorry. But they're heard, and that's really, really important for people. Is that they're heard and that they're understood and that they know that people care.
Great. So we've answered all the questions, and so I'm going to ask Matt a couple questions that might help. If you are talking to entrepreneurs and people with businesses, what is some of the advice that you would give them from an entrepreneur's perspective, if you could give them anything?
Well, I guess it's a process. The very first advice that I give everybody is my favorite quote is from Chris Valentin. He's an author and a pastor out in California. And the quote is, vision gives pain a purpose. Paraphrase is, if you know where you're going, then the pain and the struggle that it takes to get there is worth it. So if you're truly an entrepreneur, then you're a dreamer. and you have developed, at least in your brain, you've developed a plan or a concept of what you want to do. Then you have to get very, very detailed in that plan of why you're doing it, how you're doing it, every little structure. And so another little analogy that he talks about, and this deals with vision, is there's 3 men working, they're all bricklayers. And he goes to the first bricklayer, and this gentleman does, and says, "What are you doing?" And the man says, "I'm putting this brick on top of this brick." Okay. Goes to the second man and says, "What are you doing?" He's like, "I'm building this wall. It's this amazing wall. You know, all these bricks lay in perfect together, and it looks like this, and you know, the finished product's going to be like this. It's this amazing wall that I'm building." Goes to the third man and says, What are you doing?" He goes, "I'm building this cathedral. Look at this building." And he starts talking about what's going to happen in that building, and the vision and everything, the passion that he comes along with of what he's doing. It's the same guy, there are 3 guys doing the same exact job, but one of them has vision. Who's going to actually succeed in life? The one with vision. And so you need to develop vision within your life. The other thing is you need to develop yourself as a person. We've already talked about that, different things that you can do to develop your own brand or establish yourself as a person. The third one is develop your team. The people that are around you are extremely important. They're either going to bring you up or they're going to tear you down. And the people that, you know, everybody has had a friend at some point in their life where it's just always negative. It's always just dragging them down and that sort of thing. And at some point, those people either got to find solutions or you got to move on. And it's not being rude. It's just that you have higher goals and you have a higher purpose in life than to constantly be dragging people along. You know, it's like back in the Roman days, if you murdered somebody, they'd actually strap that person to your body and make you carry the dead body around. And it's gruesome, but that's what we kind of do sometimes because we feel like we need to help people out. And, you know, it is what it is. The next thing is find joy. Don't focus on your passion because passion is emotion. It's a chemical dump. We've already talked about not being ruled by your emotions because you don't need to be ruled by a chemical release in your system. What you want to do is you want to focus on what brings you joy. So for me, it's helping people. I love doing this here today, but you know, this isn't my job, right? But I love it. I enjoy it. And so if I'm doing this, or if I'm talking with a group of college students, or if I'm out on the ranch at my in-laws fixing fences, and my father-in-law tells me that this fence that we just fixed, we want to touch in our generation ever again, and maybe not even my kids' generations will ever have to touch that fence ever again. I mean, that's joy, man. When I can do something like that and help somebody, or if I'm doing physical therapy, or if I'm just at the cash register and the lady that I saw on the way here, Deb was her name, and I just was able to just thank her for doing such a great job, you know, because she was there, which allowed me to get the services that I needed that day to help me. So that's my advice to start with people.
Yeah,
okay?
Absolutely.
Okay.
So I guess my tip of the week and tip of the day per se would be to really think about where you want your trajectory of your company and who's in that company. Like Matt was saying, you can have the best idea in the world, but if you don't have the right people around you and the right team, it's never going to work. We do some pretty big contracts together, and millions and millions of dollars. And so the biggest thing that we get asked, and when we do these contracts, it's not the company we have. They ask us about our team. They put value in the team that we build. And then the other questions come. And that's something to really take, because it doesn't matter how big you are or how small you are. The people, like Matt said, that you have around you and the team that you have around you is vitally important for the life of your business. And so that's what I'd like to leave you on. Really think about where you want your company to grow and how it's already growing. And if there is a cancer in your company, it's better to cut it out now before it cripples your company. Have a great night, guys. Thank you so much for your questions, and we look forward to talking to you again. Good night.